numbers. Good, we're growing. It's a beautiful day. We're standing here today with brothers and sisters. Testing. Patriots all over the world are standing up for our freedoms, and we're fighting back. Germany's got huge numbers today. Ireland, Ottawa even, they're ramping up, they're going.
Jen,
It's
I need your
about
help.
time, yes.
Straighten that cord out.
So I'm just going to make this quick. I did want to speak about
Plug it in.
some fun stuff we have coming up. I don't know how many people have heard of the Republic of Kanata. They started down on the west coast, and they've got their own republic going. Some of us have been speaking with them, and we'd like to get our own common law courts started around here. So if you see the blue clipboards, come to us. We'll get you on an email list. Sunday, September 6th, there'll be an information meeting at our Sunday Fun Day Peace Picnic at Kinsman Park. We're just by the splash park. If it's going to be raining, we'll be in the orange tent. There's a metal tent there. So. I'm just going to pass the mic on to Ginny here. She's going to open us up in prayer and in her Dene language.
Hello. Thank you everyone for coming out. I'm so glad that you are standing up for your very rights and your very freedoms. I just want to give thanks to everyone here, but most of all I want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Hallelujah. We are in a country that still has freedoms to say such a thing as that. And I am not afraid to say that. No one should be afraid to be able to say their prayer or be ostracized in any way for standing up for their rights and their very freedoms. So right now, thank you everyone. I just want to pray in my Dene language and say a few words as to what I am wanting to accomplish in Alberta as a First Nations woman. So if you would all just bow your heads with me, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Now ta yak thing dai. Ekulai nien is it ekulai. Mohon yak red eye. Ekulai tintinik wahani June dronet ubel nilie. No ha hosena hosi. Hosenu I don't need yo anele. Debesene. Hotie quantini de. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
Woo!
My name is Virginia Bruno, and I'm from Cold Lake First Nations. I grew up on the reserve, and I knew what it's like to have the necessities that we need to grow. And then I grew up to have good parents. I had good parents, I had great parents. And I never saw alcohol or booze alcohol or drugs in my home. And I'm so thankful for that. And I come here today to tell you the atrocities that are on First Nations reserves concerning the water and housing infrastructure. As you may know, reserves have not had the services such as towns, cities, and villages concerning water and housing infrastructure, concerning water treatment plants or sewage lagoons. I grew up when I was in 1970s, not that long ago, when my dad would have to go to town to buy water and fill up our 4 cream cans, bring it home for us to drink every week. And then when he had a bath, you had to get water from the pump that he made outside and get that iron water, boil it, and we didn't even have electric stoves. We had a wooden stove. And so we had to boil the water, and then myself and my 3 younger sisters would have to use that same water in that tub. Now that wasn't too long ago. Now in the 1980s, the government of Canada, under the Mulroney government, put in the cisterns. And if you know what a cistern is a tank beside the house. Now they didn't maintain those tanks. And so right now you go into reserve, if those tanks are cracked and broken, good luck to try to get it fixed. Because that's the responsibility of the federal government to fix those cisterns. What happens when you get a broken cistern? There gets mice, frogs, bugs, snakes in those cisterns. How awful. And then not to mention the dirt. People are getting hives when they have a shower. Not to mention the diarrhea that comes from that. How horrible. Now I stand here and I have a plan. I gave my plan to the Premier last October. I thought it was August, but it was October. I looked in my notes, and it was October I sent him my proposal. And he put a committee together, and they're going to invest heavily in water, but I wonder what that entails. Does that entail water treatment plants, like I want to fight for? Does that entail sewage lagoons that they should have had already? Now this has to stop. I want to get every First Nations reserve in Alberta fixed. I want to get water treatment plants and sewage lagoons for every First Nation. But not just First Nations would benefit from that. All of rural Alberta would benefit from water treatment plants and sewage lagoons. So how much more can we activate our economy if we had such a thing in our great province of Alberta? You know, I implore you that if you have conscience in you to know, now that there's people drinking dirty water, and you have it now. What are we going to do about it? We're going to fix it. Now I have an extensive plan. I have an extensive proposal that I sent to him. Yeah, okay, he's going to do that, but what, like I said, what does that entail? And I want him to, if he's listening to me, get in contact with me. Because I'm the one that started that. I don't care if I get recognition or not. I just want the proper systems for First Nations, for water and housing quality. And also, I have a GoFundMe account. And all I need is $50,000 in my GoFundMe account to be able to go in and test the waters on First Nations reserves and in point and factual form show the government of Canada what's in that water. They only listen to facts. The government only listens to facts. The facts, we have to put a committee together for masks as well. Might as well throw it out there too. If you're going to have a committee, and thank God for that committee for water on reserves, then why not have a committee for masks? For the lies that it's bringing and all of that bringing to people. The sickness that when you have a mask on your face, you're not breathing in the fresh air that God gave you. So that's something we should have as a committee set aside for this particular thing. You know, I'm going off the subject of it, but that health minister here, you know, she doesn't look very well.
She needs some sun!
She looks like she needs more than a mask. But you know what? So I'm telling you that this water situation on reserves must change. When you flush the toilet in a house, it goes beside the house in a little tank. Then when it gets filled, they have to, they clean it out, but that area is getting polluted and it's not right. That is horrible. It's polluting the ground. So you know what? If every First Nations reserve had a water treatment plant and a sewage lagoon, how much more money would we save in healthcare?
Concerns to people with disabilities and people just like me. I have autism and ADHD and social anxiety disorder. I put on a mask and it exacerbates the issues, then it causes asthma attacks.
Fresh water for First Nations.
And I've had a doctor's note for God knows how long. I've been pushed out of businesses just because I can't.
Okay, so now
And people have gone to City Hall for something that was for people with disabilities, and took advantage of those things where it was meant for people.
Took advantage of.
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen. Exempt is exempt. You're exempt for whatever reason you want.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with you that they took advantage of it, though. They have no right to mandate a mask on your face, period. Period. Patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Ow!
I used to sing that at school every day when I was younger.
Thank you guys for coming down today. You guys are beautiful. Give yourself a round of applause for showing up. I got one question for you. Do you accept this new normal?
No!
Will you accept this new normal?
No!
Will you accept the new normal?
No!
Do you accept your children wearing face masks all day in school?
No!
Do you want the right to choose whether you wear a face mask or not?
Yes!
Me too, my friends. Canadians from across the nation are standing together in solidarity. Right now in front of Parliament, thousands of Canadians are standing as one, demanding accountability for this government. This has went on far too long. Let me ask you a question. Are we the boss? We elected these people. These are our public servants. It's time they act like it. Do your job. Do
Your job! Do your job! Do your job!
What is their job? That job is to protect the people, to create new laws, new bills that serve us, not their special interest. Do you love your rights? Yes! Do you value freedom?
Yes!
Louder, do you value your rights and freedom?
Yes!
It's tell them loud and clear. Our rights
Are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate.
One example, people, of how they use this crisis against us is Bill 10. Bill 10 was placed upon the already existing Public Health and Safety Act. This bill allows just one politician to create new laws, new offenses, without any debate in that house. That is wrong. What do you feel about that? Boo. I feel the same way. Right? This is a democracy, not a dictatorship. This is wrong. So that bill ended with the public health emergency. But what they have done is created Bill 24. So the most draconian and tyrannical parts of that bill has been snuck into Bill 24. Now Dr. Hinshaw has sole ability to create new policies. She doesn't have to check with any other health officials, any other health bodies. She can create new policies, and Minister Shandro can enact them, once again, solely. That is a dictatorship, not a democracy. Are they supposed to be doing what is right for the people? Yes! Is it wrong that they do things in their special interest? Yes! I feel it is too. Let's let them know one more time.
Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate.
When they talk about silver lining people, the silver lining I see is people around the world are awakening to governmental corruption. This is beautiful. Look at Germany, people. Let's give them a round of applause. Every single Saturday, Canadians across the nation are standing in unity. How come we have been divided for this long? In 1 month, the English and French-speaking people of Quebec have come together. That was people power. That was not done by the government. For decades, they have kept us separated. Divide and conquer is the oldest tactic of control. We stand for all races, all genders, all religions. It does not matter. We are the human family. We are all Canadians. That's right. People around the world are understanding this. We are now seeing the corruption. And it is time we stand together peacefully and respectfully. That is the key. If we remain peaceful and respectful, because that's who we are, when people realize they've been betrayed by the system, they will come to us. They will remember that we are peaceful and loving people, standing for everybody, all Canadians. One more time, do you stand for the new normal?
No!
Do you stand for the new normal?
No!
Will you ever stand for the new normal? No! Let's let them know. No new
normal! No new normal! No new normal! No new normal!
Do you want the right to choose for your family?
Yes!
Do you want the right to choose what is right for your family?
Yes!
All rights
are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate. Our rights are not up for grabs. There is no debate.
Period. So I urge you, research Bill 10, research Bill 24. This will unlock your friends and family's minds and make them understand what our government does to us in times of crisis. This is so important, my friends. Thank you all for coming down today. Give yourself a round of applause. You're true patriots. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kyle. I think we have Paul speaking. Yeah, it's not about our health anymore, is it? Never was.
Everybody, first of all, I want you guys to pat yourself on the back because you guys and gals are a part of history. Literally a part of history that is taking place and forming right now today here in Edmonton, Alberta. Because each one of your generations will see the truth that your family tree was here standing up to tyranny. So first of all, thank you so much for showing up. What I'm about to tell you is the most deepest secret that they've hidden from each and every individual who is living right now, all of us, including our wonderful police officers. Every single person has this deepest, most hidden truth that is a truth. Don't take my word upon it, but I challenge each and every one of you to do your research. A lot of people have heard about it, but it's not until you actually dig to the core, the root, that you will truly understand consciously what I'm about to say. And it's very important because this one hidden, secret truth that is out there right now that a lot of people have heard about is what's going to set us free. It's what's going to give the power back to you and I, we the people. Well, what is it? At birth, each and every one of us have been unlawfully converted. And I'm going to say it in the most simple way possible, and I'm going to say it in the most generic way possible. Everything I'm telling you is 100% the truth, and I challenge each and every one of you to dig down, because once you learn and you consciously understand what's going on and what happened, and we rise together, which, by the way, clear across the globe, we are rising to come to this one secret truth that has been hidden for the longest period of time. God bless you. You know, we're all standing here talking about, let's get rid of Bill this, let's get rid of that, bring the gun ban off, let's get rid of, well, let's come to the first of all to understand, how are they even able to get away with doing such criminal, traitorous activities? How are they able to do it? My brothers and sisters, I'll tell you how they're able to do it. The current system they have set up right now has not been set up for you and I. Okay? The current system they have right now, they've set it up for themselves from many years ago. Now, let's stop and think about this. The government's whole sole purpose of what we, the mass, should know is we are the employers and they are the employees. Am I not correct? Yeah! Okay, so that's how it's supposed to be. But what is happening today, that's not going on. It looks like somehow they were able to reverse it. Somehow we are their employees and they are the dictators who tell us what to do, and we end up paying them and literally giving them our money, giving them our rights, and we have no say. Zip your mouth, wear a mask, and stay in your house. So how has this tyrannical measure happened? Okay, so let's start from the root. This unlawful conversion that has happened to each and every one of you. And by the way, by the end, I'm going to tell you guys how we're going to reverse this and take back the power and bring it to we the people. Amen. Because we need solutions. We don't just need issues, we need solutions. Well, each one of us, okay, have been unlawfully converted at birth. What does that mean? So, when you actually are born to this earth, first of all, God our Creator, created you, your parents created you, and brought you to this earth. So when you were born with the rights from who? Our Creator, God. But it wasn't until this unlawful, illegal Service Corporation of Canada converted us unlawfully, and I'll explain how, at birth, and now claimed jurisdiction over you, claiming property. You're going to hear these terms. I'm going to start explaining more about what they mean. But they took and held control over you by unlawfully converting you. How? Well, there's a thing called Black's Law, and it's Black's Law Dictionary. You got to research it. It's pretty much the law that the service corporations have set up themselves. What happens at birth is when you're born, especially even here in Edmonton, you're given a registration of live birth. Okay? You will take a look at your name. Your name is in all lowercase letters. You guys and gals have probably heard about this, but it's very important we understand the details. It's in all lowercase letters. Now, it's not until you go and I challenge every one of you right now. I can instantly be called a liar. Challenge every one of you right now to take out your driver's license that the Service Corporation of Canada gave to you. And you're going to find out there's a hidden truth on that driver's license. Your last name, or first name, or all, normally it's the last name now, is in all capitalized letters. Let me tell you something. There's a reason why it's in all capitalized letters. When you take a look at your bank statement, go look at your statement. It's in all capitalized letters. Well, let me tell you something. If I capitalize over this lady, what am I doing? I'm capitalizing on her. I'm taking control over her. That is a trespass that I am doing on this beautiful lady. I am trespassing. I'm capitalizing. According to Black's Law, when you capitalize anything, it turns into a corporation, an entity, a fictitious entity. We are all right now walking and acting in the capacity of what this unlawful, illegal corporation has created out of each and every one of us. We are acting in that capacity of the all capitalized letters. Now, in the middle of this, I'm going to tell you, if anybody here in Canada wants to learn more about this in the extreme details, you go to awarriorcalls.com. There's a gentleman by the name of Chris who is, I'm going to be talking more about this, but awarriorcalls.com, who he basically explains everything from the start all the way to the end. And in the next couple months, we're reversing the tables where we the people have the power back. And I'm going to explain. God bless you all. So we the people are going to reverse this, and I'm going to explain how. But first of all, what happens is when they capitalize, they put the all caps letters, it turns you in. See, here's the hierarchy typically of what's called the law of the land. The law of the land was the original law that when God put us, you can known as the Ten Commandments, for example. When God put us on this earth, He gave us dominion over the earth. Right? He gave us dominion. meaning over there. So it goes God, it goes the man and woman, okay, and then it goes the government, right? Remember, we started off with saying, we are the employers, they are the employees. So the true lawful law of the land is where God, our creator, man and woman, and then it goes the government, and underneath that are our beautiful and amazing police officers, which we stand for, which are there to serve and protect us. God bless. Amen. And then underneath that is the corporation. Corporations, these illegal corporations, these service corporations. Okay? So here's the thing. What happened was, these tyrannical governments, back in the day, said, okay, men and women are walking with all this power. And I want to find a way to capitalize on the man and woman and take them from their hierarchy of being literally second in line, first in line besides God. I want to take them from there, and I want to bring them down underneath me. So how do I do that? Well, that's what they created. They created your identification card so that you can basically be capitalized and be a corporation, a fictitious entity. I mean, take a look around. How many people have you guys and gals tried to go and wake up? This is women's group. Hey, did you know the masks don't work? Did you know? And they're so separated from the conscious living man or woman. Right? They don't know who they are. They're walking around like zombies. No, seriously, that's how disconnected we are. So they've taken away, think about this. They've, at birth, unlawfully converted us. Now, how is it unlawful? Well, guess what? The law of the land, which is, by the way, called common law. Not the common law you typically hear in the man and woman, okay, who are married and stay. No, I'm talking the real law of the land is called common law. And I am going to tell you, we are restoring the common law back to the people in the next couple of months. Amen. We will. They cannot stop us. They will not stop us. We will restore it back because it gives the power back to be the people. Now what happens is, so the common law is the law of the land. And what we've done, what they have done was, when you're born, they take you have to consciously make a choice in any type of contract you're going to get yourself into, right? Let's think about this. If I can't just come to you and let's just say, for example, you have a shovel in your garage. Well, that shovel is your property. It's not my property, right? I can't just come, open your garage, take your property, and leave. If I do that, what's going to happen? They're going to definitely sue me, get the police at my house, and arrest me, because that's your property. Well, how come this government, right now, that we're seeing, can do that to us? Because what we don't realize is that all caps letter, that identification card that you're walking in right now, that is how they are controlling us. Yeah. That is how they are saying we are acting in that capacity. Because let me tell you, the law of the land says he or she who creates controls. Did you create that identification card? Yes or no? No. Did the Service Corporation of Canada create that identification card? Yes or no? Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm speaking
right now,
probably next or afterwards. Not sure.
For all the police officers to understand, because it's happened to them as well. What this Service Corporation of Canada is doing is getting you to act in the capacity of the all-capitalized letter in that identification card. When they take you to the courts and they say, Mr. Thomas Jefferson, step to the stand, you're walking and acting in the capacity of that all-capital letters. And because they created that identification card and you're willingly saying, yes, I'm so-and-so, but unconsciously doing it, this is how they're controlling us with all these measures. So now the first step is to be consciously aware to what I just said. Because once you're consciously aware to what I just said, your mind is going to start opening up to learning a lot more of what's going on and what has happened ever since the start. Thank you. So now that we know and understand that we've been at birth converted, unconsciously converted at birth, so we need to learn how to, and if we even have a solution to stepping outside what's called that jurisdiction. You see, the current jurisdiction that they're getting us to act upon is the Service Corporation of Canada. And if you dig and do your research, you will find out that this is literally nothing but a service corporation that is unlawfully and illegally formed. Canada never federated with each of the provinces. You got to dig deeper into that to find out the information, but let's talk in general. But they've done it. Now, at birth, remember, people say, but my mom signed that documentation to get my birth certificate. Well, guess what? Once you become consciously aware and you're of the age of an adult to be consciously aware of what's going on, did you sign that paper? No. So you've been unconsciously converted. So with law, how it works, just so you understand, so how it works is this, is if you have not consciously done that, well, you're not binded to that contract, okay? So this is very important. This is real. This is a reality. Because what happens is now this. Let's talk really quick about common law. Well, common law now, it's not about just going out there and doing whatever you want. You can do what you want so long as you cause no harm to another man or woman. And by the way, they're supposed to be serving us in the common law. So in the next couple months, just so you know, this is a massive movement. And everybody take out your phone too and make sure you go to earthunited.global as well. This is globally happening, earthunited.global. This is where we the people, have created also an application that's going to connect all the patriots across the world to where we can connect and say, we're forming our common law public courthouses and we're bringing the power back to the people. So in Canada it's happening, around the world it's happening, and it's here. So it's a reality. And just to be very clear, people say, so wait, this is going to fall, that's going to, no. Hey, if you want to be a part of that service corporation, all the best to you. But guess what? We deserve the lawful law of the land that was given to us by our Creator and not taken over by this. So, everybody, what I just said, I want to wrap it up really quick over there. Just note that it's coming on next Sunday, this Sunday coming up, not tomorrow, but this Sunday coming up. Like Rochelle said, she mentioned, we are going to be getting together at 1 o'clock, and we're going to start restoring this here in Edmonton. We have enough people here in Edmonton at the park. Yeah, it's Kingsman Park, where the splash park is. Yeah, Kingsman Park. We're restoring this. This is a great time to be alive. And this wonderful, just so you know who I'm about to pass the microphone to, when all this COVID crap happened, really, I came, my wife, my kids were like, we got to come down to the legislature and see if there's anybody here. I literally came over there a couple months ago when this garbage happened, and I literally found out that, unfortunately, there was somebody who got arrested. This is one of the first gentlemen who got arrested for just coming over here and nobody was even here. And I'm going to pass his name is Patrick.
The only thing I want to know is to do a little research what he was talking about your birth certificate. If you go look at an Ontario birth certificate, at the very bottom of the birth certificate, it says a banking note. I come from Quebec. At the bottom of mine, it's written in French, mind you, it says that this is a piece of paper that identifies you, that we own you. That's on my birth certificate, saying they own me. You know, go check out your Alberta one. There's something's going to be written on those too. I have no idea what it is, but do research and you'll see how they're trying to control us completely. Anyways, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
So, and just so you know, one of our beautiful patriots actually has the location and all that printed out, the information here. So I'm going to be coming around and passing it out. If you want one, grab one. If you don't, God bless you. And yeah, we'll have an awesome rest of the day.
Thank you, Paul and Patrick. Now we have Joshua from the Albertan. He's going to come.
And we just got bit by a wasp.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And we have a new friend here today. How are you doing, everybody? This is what our future will look like if we let them. We're not going to let them. Our voices will be heard.
Yes, I talked to him, I had a conversation call with him every day.
About 3 hours today. Thank you. Give him a round of applause. That's creative. That's Simon.
All right. Here I am
Those were some fantastic speeches. And Ginny, thank you so much for that beautiful Lord's Prayer. It's beautiful in every language. I remember growing up in Protestant school. Who remembers Protestant school? Before it was public school. We used to have Protestant school and Catholic school. There was no public school. That Lord's Prayer opened every school day. And then we got rid of it. And look at where we are now. Look at where we are now. I think there's a link. Now let me put on my best Dr. Dina Hinshaw face here. And I'll give you the latest update on the COVID-19 situation. In Alberta, there have been, actually I'm going to be more monotonous. In Alberta, there have been a total of 13,476 confirmed cases, 12,054 of which have recovered. 237 people have succumbed, and I cry for every one of them. The average age of the people that have died is 83. A full year over the average life expectancy in this province. Currently, there are a total of 44 people in Alberta's hospitals with COVID-19. 7 of which are in the ICU. This accounts for only 1.96% of our hospital capacity. There are 2,250 beds in our hospitals. Even at the peak of the pandemic, the most we ever used for COVID-19 was 115 beds. If this curve isn't flattened, I don't know what to say. But this is no longer about flattening the curve. Now the goalposts have been moved to eliminating the virus. We went from a 2-week lockdown to flatten the curve, to a half-decade lockdown to eliminate the virus. Theresa Tam is on record saying that these restrictions will be in place for 2 to 3 years, even if an effective vaccine is found. Even the new Conservative leader, Erin O'Toole, is in favor of mandatory masks. Masks, which 3 months ago all the experts agreed did not work to prevent the spread of the virus. Even the packaging on the masks admit that they offer zero protection. Yet here we are. The little Nazis that run our cities have all forced mandatory muzzles on our faces. And the even tinier little Nazi business owners think that they can refuse service to people without masks. This is pure Nazism. When do we start sending people off to concentration camps? Of course, we don't call them concentration camps. They will be called quarantine facilities. We are already seeing the RCMP enforcing self-isolation orders with intrusive visits and phone calls. What happens if your child sneezes at school? Heaven forbid they catch a cold. I'll tell you what will happen. Your child will be locked in an isolation room by themselves. If you can't get to the school fast enough, they will be sent off to a quarantine facility for testing. Your entire family will be required to self-isolate until the test results are received. Good luck keeping your job, if your job even exists anymore. All of this for a virus that poses zero risk to children. In Alberta, there has not been a single reported death from COVID in a person under the age of 19. From age 20 to age 49, there have been a total of 3 deaths. This is insane. How can anyone still take this seriously? Was it worth destroying the entire economy to save a bunch of senior citizens in care homes? No. Speaking of seniors in care homes, loneliness is killing thousands of them.
Suicide.
Save the seniors!
If I were in a care home, I would ask to be euthanized.
Yeah.
Why bother living like this for another 3 years? We have already received reports from family members stating exactly this. Just the other day, I read a report from the daughter of a 78-year-old woman stuck in one of these prisons. The mother is asking for assisted suicide. These poor old people don't even get to eat together. They have to sit at separate tables. Visitors are extremely limited. The process to visit is arduous. You have to be screened. Appointments have to be booked. Most places only allow a senior 2 approved visitors, period. So they will not be seeing their grandchildren or a variety of loved ones and friends.
I can't visit my dying uncle.
This is evil. Let the seniors decide for themselves. Is life worth holding on to if you can't share it with anyone? Yet the majority can't see through it. They beg for more oppression. If it saves one life, they repeat. I should say they bleat. The fear has so clouded their judgment that they will risk losing everything that makes life worth living. If this is the life that is left for us, I want no part of it. Just kill me now. Take me to your concentration camp and gas me. I've had enough.
Don't wait, they'll go down with me. It's many of them.
As if all this were not enough, you still cannot renew your passport. This tyrannical government literally believes they own you. You are not allowed to leave. You are a slave. Only those with special privileges can leave the plantation, like NHL players. You won't be allowed to leave until you've been vaccinated with an untested, rush-to-market, revolutionary vaccine that will edit the very DNA that our Creator gifted you from birth. If this is not the mark of the beast system, I don't know what is. Of course, the vaccine will not be made mandatory. You just won't be allowed to shop without it. You won't be allowed on the bus without it. You won't be allowed in the airport without it. Your kids will not be allowed in schools without it. No country will allow you to enter without it. But hey, it's your choice. It isn't mandatory. Look at WestJet's latest announcement. Refuse to wear a mask and you will be banned from WestJet for a year. Wow. Do you see how easy fascism is? The New World Order just gets your friends and neighbors and local businesses to do their dirty work for them. Eventually, a report from your neighbor will get you locked up. When do they start executing the dissenters? This situation is far more dire than most of you will ever grasp until it is too late, except for this crowd. This is the end of the world we once knew. The technocratic, totalitarian slave state is on your doorstep now. Forget the health effects of 5G technology and ponder the possibilities for tracking every human activity. One of these days like that. The 5G infrastructure it'll be able to transmit the data from millions of closed-circuit cameras to central database where your face will be tracked wherever you go. Everything you do will be monitored. Every word recorded. Anything you say, ever, anywhere, will be used against you in a court of law. This is so much further than anything Stalin, Hitler, or Mao could have ever imagined. Your life will simply be one big file in a database. All your health information, vaccine records, school grades, traffic infractions, everything about you will be in a database and tracked and scored for compliance. You are now livestock. You are cattle. You are even less than a slave. You are just another natural resource to be exploited. Here we are, so busy trying to save the lives of old and sick people. But the next phase of the operation will be to eliminate them altogether. Once your productivity has been deemed too low to be worth keeping you around, you will be cut off and eliminated. All around the world during this pandemic fraud, do not resuscitate orders have been signed for old people in homes. I would be willing to bet that a large swath of the reported COVID fatalities could have been saved were it not for these orders, let alone banning medications that could have saved their lives. Hydroxychloroquine works. It is estimated that at least 50% of those who perished could have been saved had this drug been provided early enough. A low dose of hydroxychloroquine, 2 pills per week, and a zinc supplement is enough to prevent COVID-19 infection. But they told you that hydroxychloroquine is deadly. They told you that studies proved it was ineffective. Those studies were pure fraud and have been withdrawn. They purposely designed the studies in ways that would discredit the treatment. One study gave patients lethal doses of hydroxychloroquine. All of these purported studies gave the patients the drug way too late in the course of the virus to be effective. Doctors in Alberta are to this day still forbidden from prescribing this treatment. Why? I'll tell you why. The Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization are both owned. The likes of Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci are invested in other cures. Cures that instead of costing pennies per dose will cost thousands of dollars per treatment. The Center for Disease Control owns the patent on coronavirus. They own the patent on the testing. Are you starting to sense the pure satanic evil at work here? Speaking of testing, I hope you were all aware that the test being used is about 50% accurate. It was never intended to be used for infectious diseases. Why else? Why else would they push for testing in people with 0 symptoms? By always increasing the amount of tests run, they can keep pushing the case count higher. The deaths keep dropping day by day. The number in hospitals continues to fall. By those 2 figures alone, this pandemic was over months ago. But they control your fear by using the new case numbers, a completely meaningless statistic. Fear is a powerful means of control. It is your government's favorite weapon. They use it all the time, on you. Think about how 9/11 changed the world. Flying used to be almost enjoyable. Then came the Patriot Act, an act that gave the government backdoors into every USA-made electronic device. 9/11 was used as the pretext to record every phone call made in the world. It was used to create the infrastructure used to track your smartphone everywhere you go. This pandemic is simply the next step on the stairway to the technocratic totalitarian New World Order. Anybody remember the underwear bomber? Witnesses saw 2 men in suits strong-arm the ticket agent at the airport to get the underwear bomber on the airplane without so much as a passport. All of it was a pretext to force the naked body scanners at the airports. They already had a warehouse full of the machines waiting to be put into service. This is the age-old story. Open your eyes. These billionaires and trillionaires are doing it again. Notice how only the multinational big box corporations have been permitted to operate during the pandemic. Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, Costco. How many billions of dollars has 3M made selling personal protective equipment to your government? How many billions have gone to pharmaceutical companies owned by Gates and Fauci? These people are profiting off the demise of your liberty. This fascist New World Order will ruin lives for generations. I don't know if it is even possible to recover from this. I do know the sooner people wake up and stop being stooges for the New World Order, the better our chances are. But we are running out of time. If we do not stop this, we are headed for a new dark age. Is this the future you wanted for your grandchildren? A report came out today saying that 60% of Canadian restaurants will not survive another 3 months, let alone years. Yeah, no kidding. That accounts for over 600,000 Canadian jobs. And when the rest of them close, that's going to be 1.2 million people out of work. How many families? The churches are dead. both spiritually and physically. The churches that have reopened have very low attendance. They will be mosques shortly. At least the Muslims have their priorities straight, and for that, I respect them. Perhaps God will show them favor for their devotion. If your pastor has not spoken out against this agenda, he is not of God. The Spirit is not with him. His sheep are lost for eternity. How can people who profess to love Jesus sit back and watch this country slide under satanic control without so much as saying a single word against it?
Amen.
The Bible teaches that we get the government we deserve. Our leaders have been appointed by God. You are feeling the beginning of his wrath. You don't have to look very far to see why God is angry with us. We have desecrated marriage. Parents have abandoned their responsibility for their children. Just let the state raise them. We have abandoned the simplest precepts of God creating a man and a woman. Gender is now just a social construct. Young children are being sexualized at an ever-increasing rate. State-sanctioned pedophilia is just around the corner. It is clear that all of our leaders are Lucifer-worshipping pedophiles. And all the while, we abort 42 million babies per year worldwide. Our leaders are a reflection of our society. We all share the blame for this.
Yes, we do.
The only thing that can save us is the Lord himself.
Amen.
We must repent and turn from evil. In my estimation, it seems beyond impossible. So many people believe in the Q conspiracies, but cannot understand why these people have been granted control. This Luciferian elite has been granted control by a society that has set itself against God, against our Creator, against our Father. And for that, we will forever pay the price. I know most of you will not hear this message. I know most of you will resent this messenger. But don't say I didn't warn you. Wake up now before it's too late, if it isn't too late already.
Wow, thank you, Joshua. Okay, so we have a little bit of a different route here we're going. Cody was going to speak, but he is going to step down. So Karen and David Dixon, I'll let her tell you her story. Okay, we're just gonna have a quick intermission. Who's teaching?
My friends, will you ever accept the new normal? No. Will we ever accept the new normal? No. Will you accept the new normal? No. No new normal. No new normal. No new normal. No new normal. No new normal.
Epiphany just pointed something out to me. She says, have a good look around here. Everybody look at your neighbor, look beside you, look at everybody here. Look around, this is your new family. We're all here to love and support each other. Many of you have been coming endlessly all summer, since the spring. And yeah, this is just beautiful. I just wanted to say I love you all. And thank you for coming.
Thank you to the group for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'd like to just point out that when I arrived, local news were here. I don't see any media currently standing in the crowd, ready to film what I'm about to say to this audience. after that. He didn't want to hear any of the people here who are talking to you about what is going to happen to your future, to your children, to everybody here in Alberta, Canada, and the world. Thank you all for coming here today. My name is Karen Dixon. My husband is David Dixon. I have a background in education. My husband is an ex-British police officer who has extensive experience in technology. My husband is an ex-British police officer. I wish it wasn't so windy. Who has extensive experience in technology, privacy, security, compliance, and the law. We have been heavily involved in research on this virus for the last 6 months, since news first broke from China. Our peer-reviewed research is on ResearchGate and has been published outside of that. Our connections are global. We are talking with Dolores Cahill, the world-renowned molecular biologist and immunologist from Ireland, who spoke today in London, UK, in front of tens of thousands of people. We are connected to Yoran Lass from Israel, a physician, politician, and former Director General of the Health Ministry for Israel. Here in Alberta, we are talking to doctors, nurses, paramedics, and politicians. Yes, some politicians who are deeply concerned about the direction or misdirection and misinformation being circulated to Canadians about this virus. So many are questioning the government narrative. So many are afraid to come forward. They have been threatened if they speak out. We are here to speak for them until they can take the lead for us here in Canada, the way professionals in every field of healthcare around the world are doing, have done today, in front of crowds of millions, in London, England, in Berlin, Germany, in Madrid, Spain, and countries across the world. There is a growing understanding that fear, not this virus, is our real enemy. Albertans, Canadians, I entreat you. We are running out of time. We're running out of time to address a crime against humanity. David and I are parents of 2 daughters. We have 2 grandchildren. Their great-grandmother is currently in a care home, a victim who has just endured the 3rd lockdown of what should be her home. For a few cases of staff voluntarily testing asymptomatic positive. What should be her home has become her prison. Residents now spend hours in their rooms in isolation, despite them being cohorts on separate tables, and access from family and medical professionals and medical care, which is deemed legally essential for their well-being, is being denied. No residents, despite 6+ rounds of invasive testing, have tested positive for the virus in this centre alone.
They're hoping.
Yet many are fading from lack of care and family support, despite the best efforts of frontline staff. PPE requirements change for visitors when they're allowed in, which I hasten to add is not often, and for staff on a whim. There is no supportable science for the madness of these measures in place. Care homes had tried and tested protocols in place before this outbreak. They were managed with a standard of excellence. Staff were struggling to do their job under officials, politicians, and the media to the sound of deafening silence. All of this is the result of useless asymptomatic testing, which fulfills one purpose: the agenda to lock down and incapacitate society as we know it. If you are not sick, why on earth would you submit to being tested? Whether you have symptoms or test positive from these inaccurate tests, you will not receive any treatment if you are deemed to have COVID, even when you don't. AHS, along with all of the health authorities, have openly admitted, it is on their website, that asymptomatic positive testing means nothing. As COVID doesn't seem to have any unique symptoms, even symptomatic testing is of no value. The reality is, testing will result in, at best, the lockdown of you, your family, your friends, your businesses, your school, our care centres, your entire life. At worst, you will be isolated for 2 weeks or more to either recover, get worse, or die of an untreated, non-COVID condition. And yes, it's already happened over and over again here in Alberta and across the world. Lockdown kills. Testing kills. The most vulnerable, our elderly, need protection using tried and tested protocols which were already in place pre-COVID. Our government needs to make treatment, tried and tested for 70 years, freely available to seniors, to all of us, to protect us from this virus. The treatment works with incredible efficacy if used in the early stages of COVID-19, shedding all trace of the virus in 6 days. That treatment, as Josh pointed out, is hydroxychloroquine, used with the antibiotic azithromycin and zinc. That we know of, 4 million doses of this medication were freely donated to and are stockpiled in Canada as I speak. Over 250 million doses were donated worldwide. Why are our elderly dying at home, in hospital beds, in care homes like Good Samaritan on the south side without treatment? This is a crime! Absolutely. It is a crime that's being masked under the excuse of COVID. And the evidence, once a person dies in a care home, no matter the cause, they are bundled up before their family can see them and removed with all their belongings. Their room is sanitized, along with all the memories of them. Our loved ones are being treated like toxic waste, not the precious individuals they were. This is not care or compassion. It is the behavior of criminals covering up a crime.
Absolutely.
Please, I beg you, look at the radical changes that have been made to our society, from plexiglass to extreme modifications to your workplaces. Laws have been enacted beyond anything that would have been required for something which we were told would need a few weeks in lockdown to flatten the curve. It's time to realize that masks and social distancing will be in place in perpetuity. They are not for your protection. There is no supportable science for their application on mass populations. Masks and social distancing are designed to separate, alienate, and kill our ability to communicate. If discourse is dead, then we are unable to find the truth. This is a means to divide and conquer. We are being reshaped, reorganized, and most frighteningly of all, repurposed. Anyone Anyone who thinks otherwise, I'm sorry if I struggle through this. This is my passion. My heart breaks for every child going back to school in this uncertainty. What should be home from home, security and their sanctuary, will be, just like the care home is for my mum, their prison. Honestly, I just want to hug them all. Teachers, I speak to you all. I'm one of you. Your job, your vocation, your absolute mandate beyond this madness is to provide children with a place where they can thrive, feel truly alive in body and mind, be with their friends, be free to learn. Truly the greatest gift we can all give to our children. I am absolutely petrified. Not of a virus that poses no threat to our children, but for teachers who, like the care staff in care homes, will be so stifled by unworkable regimes that they will be unable to help those who need them now more than ever. I'm watching this exact thing play out in my mother's care home. I'm hearing from families who are literally helpless, knowing their loved ones are fading away in isolation. Our children and our elderly are the most vulnerable and at risk in the face of an ever-changing, unmanageable, unworkable, and in fact, unlivable regime, and the scientifically unsound measures imposed upon them. They need our protection. They need your help. You, as parents, must advocate for them at the highest level, by all means possible, to secure their well-being, in fact, their very future survival. Please watch over your family. Do not send them anywhere, be it a school or hospital, where access is forbidden to you as an advocate. We are living in terrifying times, but it is within us all to turn the tide on this tsunami of insanity. The choice, the people's choice, is yours. There is hope. Dolores Cahill in Ireland is telling her entire country that there is hope. There is the power within you to make change. Eat well, exercise, enjoy quality time with your family and friends. Positivity is power for the mind and body. If you choose, or I know in many cases parents feel they have no choice, to send their child to school, make sure you have a backup plan. There will be endless cycles of lockdown from asymptomatic testing. Flu season is upon us. Think seriously how that is going to play out. Every symptom will be deemed COVID. Wash your hands regularly. Practice basic, tried and tested, good hygiene. Masks and social distancing are damaging, physically and psychologically, especially to children. Again, remember, none of these measures have ever been accurately studied on the public at large. Look up the research from our own occupational health and safety expert, Chris Schaefer, here in Alberta. He wrote extensively on this and sent it to the Albertan government and City of Edmonton. It was ignored. Open your mind to reason, balanced, well-researched discussion. It's hard to find, but it's all there in plain sight if you look hard enough. Look up Dolores Cahill from Ireland, America's frontline doctors, and our own Rocco Galati. We legal challenge to the Superior Court of Canada against the Canadian government's overreaction to this virus. I beg you, question, question, question everything. Be a critical thinker. Remember, you are not alone. Millions of people the world over are starting what will be a deafening crescendo against oppression and tyranny, like we have never seen before in the history of humanity. You need to be a voice for freedom and change. Do not live in fear. Fear works in two ways. At a basic level, it induces a fight or flight response. Do not let it paralyze you. It must drive you to action. Every little act, be it a smile, a hug, a positive comment on social media, joining a group who are advocating for change, talking to people you meet in the grocery store, questioning workplace practices, writing to our elected officials, supporting our police force. We need them right now. Everything, no matter how small, makes a difference. I will end with a story of a man I met outside IGA in Devon, our hometown, at the end of March this year, before our beautiful world stopped turning. He was banging his head in his hands and shouting, "I don't know what's going on in my head, but I know in my heart this is wrong." I hugged him. I think that's against the law, okay?
Only in their mind, not ours.
He was a complete stranger. I told him he could take comfort in the knowledge that he was right. And knowledge is power. You all know in your heart that this is wrong. You only have to look around to know in your head that this is wrong. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. 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 Jason Penny, I hope you can hear us out here today. Even if he's in his own home. I think we're loud enough to make a difference.
We're not a people kind, you won't listen.
It's about time we all understood the real meaning of we're all in this together. It's high time to right the crime. 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 That time, my friends, is now.
Very good job, Peter. Thank you so much. That was. I remember my first speech. I still shake every time. So, we need to get the message out. You know, as she was speaking, it made me think of the beginning of lockdown when my daughter got sick. She had all the symptoms of COVID. She couldn't breathe for a couple of days. She had a very, very high fever, so high she was hallucinating. I thought she was having a seizure, so I brought her to the local hospital. We said, well, if this happens again, bring her to the stollery. So it happened again, and I brought her to the stollery. This was before lockdown. It was a week before lockdown. They told me that they wouldn't test her, which I'm thankful for now, but at the time, I was scared, so I thought that that was the real thing. They told me that because we haven't traveled outside of Canada, she didn't get the test. And she just had a bacterial infection. So they treated it with 2 puffers, antibiotics, and antihistamines. Guess what? In like 3 days, she was fine. In Italy, they're actually doing their autopsies now. They're finding these COVID deaths were a bacterial infection. We know how to treat that. The testing is a joke. If you look at the president of Tanzania, he was a scientist. He started testing fruit and animals. Who came back with COVID? The middle of a pawpaw fruit had COVID.
Don't forget the motor oil.
Oh, and motor oil too. Yeah, he gave these fruits and animals and motor oil people names and sent them in as if they were people being tested. Smart man. I want to meet him.
And then he kicked out the World Health Organization.
Yeah, the World Health Organization. He kicked out Bill Gates, who is scum of the earth. Yes! He wants to depopulate us. We're not going to let him. Not taking his vaccine, and we need everybody to wake up and see this. This is not about your health anymore. This has been in the works for years. This is all part of their plan, and people, other than you guys and everybody standing up, a lot of people are falling for it. They believe what the media says to be true. The media lies and people die. Okay, we'll start. Media lies, people die. Media lies, people die. Media lies, people die. Again, thank you guys all for coming out here today. I just love singing the song. Here's Cody.
Thank you, Michelle. Very good speeches. I'm glad I went last. I'm going to keep this short, but I want to start out with saying this. Everybody here, you have a beautiful face and a beautiful smile that cannot be contained by...
No kidding. We'll get there, hopefully.
Now, and I know that this has been tiring here. We've had a great... Every Saturday, 1 to 3 at the Ledge, and Sundays at Kinsman Park at 1 to 3. We have at 1, and we go all afternoon. It's a peace picnic. We will march next Saturday. There's some stuff that needed to get out today. Now, there's a lot of distressing stuff going on right now, and we all know what is going on. This was never about our health. No. I personally know a few people that have died, not because of COVID, because of not being able to see their families. My little brother is struggling with drugs and alcohol right now, and cannot get the help he needs because it's not coronavirus. Also, I know a lot of mothers that are getting old right now. I mean, we all, as the millennial generation, we're getting up there.
Just back off just a little bit.
Sorry. We have parents that are getting old. We're not worried about them getting sick. We're worried about them, if my mother went to the hospital right now, I'd have to bring a sledgehammer with me to break down that stupid plexiglass barrier. This is atrocious. And Dina Hinshaw, right now, I consider you public enemy number 1.
Yep.
I hated Rachel Notley. Kenny, I didn't vote for you. I think you guys are all scum. But Hinshaw, you have caused this province irreversible damage. The suicides that are caused because of this so-called health measure are anything but attributed to COVID. When you tell children that they can't hug their friends because of Health Act, what does that teach them? Not anything good. It teaches them to believe that all human beings are dirty, vile creatures. Yeah, let me say that again. We are dirty, vile creatures. In that legislature building, human beings are dirty, vile creatures. I don't know how there are not more people out here right now. I don't know why this whole little area, and And that pool right there is not filled with pissed off citizens. This is atrocious, and we have been complacent for far too long. When there are doctors being silenced, but criminals like Bill Gates can openly speak out that vaccines are a good thing. That creepy voice of his, that whiny little voice of his, I cannot get out of my head right now.
Awesome, brother.
You have caused irreversible damage.
My pleasure.
And that this one draconian little weasel will be held accountable. I didn't come here to go lovey-dovey and everything. I came here because I was a pissed off person. I knew something was wrong. 2 + 2 didn't equal 4. It didn't equal 4 at that point. And I keep saying that for the simple reason. When there are people killing themselves because they can't feed their families, when there is so much hopelessness and despair, and the real experts, not government appointed, are being silenced, there is a problem. Yeah! Give yourselves a round of applause right now, every one of you. We need more. This is not a joke, but I'll leave you with this. When the government fears the people, it is liberty. When we fear you guys, it's tyranny. And that's exactly what's happening. My grandparents didn't go in the war for this. Thank you very much.
Amen!
Do you accept the new normal, people? Do you accept the new normal? Do you accept the new normal? When your kids wear face masks all day long? Do you have the choice to wear masks?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's not social. It's a communist takeover. It's yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. 100%.
He came here and I hollered first and don't say don't take up here. That's why I came here from a communist country.
Right. Right.
And that was my parents too.
Right. Oh, it's amazing how quickly we forget.
Yeah, his new normal. What do we think of that now?
That's okay. Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for coming. Josh. Yeah. I'm the angry Albertan on Facebook. So.
Good. Just so I can tag you in the video as well. I'll tag you in the video I took.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we need more people waking up speaking the truth here.
Yeah. It's scary, man. You know, 10 to 15,000 people at a Black Lives Matter protest right here. And this is all we can come up with for liberty. Oh.
That fear is greater than anything.
Oh, yeah. And it'll be the end of us all, really. I mean, like, you know, like I see Jay, one of the guys I know, he's wearing, he's got his bandana covering his face. No, not that guy. That guy's, he's always here. The,
If anybody wants to sign up for our email list, please look for the ladies with the blue clipboards.
But he's, you know, I said, what are you doing with this bandana on your face? And he says, I work for the government. If they identify me here, I could lose my job. And it's like, we need to get to that point when you're willing to lose your job. You know, because you're going to lose it anyway.
The last couple of months, he's been trying to make it out.
Well, that's the thing.
He's been really wanting to play some songs.
If you're not willing to lose your job, I mean, what are you going to be ready to sacrifice your life for this? Yeah, that's why I played the Battle Hymn of the Republic when we started. It's that last verse of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, you know. Let us die to make men free. You know, if we're not going to get to that point, you know, if people aren't ready to put their lives on the line for freedom and what's right, we're dead in the water. You know.
I was going to let you guys know because I didn't put that in my speech before, but I gotta tell you.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're already dead.
Not only with a GoFundMe account, but I make earrings for my business. My business is called 2 Canatan Incorporate. What
were the people? Or?
There's a bunch of groups. I don't associate with any of them. I'm just me.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear about that. But yeah, oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I have to raise the money.
Yeah.
Who's this guy here that spoke? Do you know him?
How she is?
No, the one next to him.
That's Jay.
Oh, that's the guy you were talking about.
That's Jay. I think he's with Unify the People. I'm not sure.
I see. Okay.
You know.
Yeah, that's kind of confusing because I was like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great that everybody will come here and stand together at least. But I certainly don't agree with all of it. But and I don't think very many people agree with me all the way either. So.
You know what? Don't piss people off. You're not being truthful to who you are, right?
A business like mine has to be raised up to be able to test those waters and get those houses fixed correctly.
On the things that are important for us
Get on board with my initiative and you won't regret it. Thank you.
Brain cells matter! 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 And this was the genius who came up with that slogan. I expect a speech next week.
I will. I made the organite for today to clear the sky.
Good job.
Seems to have worked.
Well, it's like, hey, that's bullshit clouds. I want to clear skies so people can see the truth.
And it's a beautiful shade of blue again. Well, that about wraps it up. It's a nice little rally, great speakers, good vibe, lots of people. I'd like to see more people out here. I'd like to see 10 to 15,000 people out here with Don Iveson. Let's get Don Iveson out here. No, he doesn't like liberty anyway, but that was a lot of fun, folks. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next Saturday.